Hello and welcome to QED Stata 5 from part S23. Now we're looking at how to check population proportions between two different subgroups. So for example, what I mean by population proportion is the proportion of children in the whole population who have received this important diphtheria, polio, tetanus vaccination. And the hypothesis, the null hypothesis here is that the proportion of children who've had that is the same among the dominant Khmer ethnic group as it is among the other ethnic groups. The alternative is that it's higher among the dominant ethnic group than among the other ethnic groups. So we're looking for evidence of ethnic disadvantage here, perhaps discrimination in access in favour of the dominant group. So the way this is put in is it's the same proportions test, but use this by option. So this is a categorical variable that separates it into dominant, non-dominant. So this must be a 0-1 variable, and this must just be a 2-category variable. This is actually 0-1. So let's just put that in and carry out the test by inserting that into the do file and executing it. See what the output looks like. So, yeah, a very strong result. We're looking for the difference of less than 0, so it's a one-tailed test, so very, very strong result. Again, it's similar to the others. So we can definitely reject that at the 1% significance level, even the 0.1% significance level. So from here, there's the data gives us very strong support for the idea that the proportion of kids who've had that injection is higher in the whole population in the dominant ethnic group. Then some similar tests to see if they're in a better position in measles vaccination and underweight. Well, the two tests for that we need are, where's the default gone? Yeah. Those are the tests you need. Just run those. You find in each case the result is again highly significant, that the proportion is for the non-ethnics is lower for getting the measles vaccination, and for non-ethnics is higher in terms of the severely underweight children. So definite evidence in both cases again of disadvantage for the minority ethnic groups in terms of access to healthcare and health outcomes. And then finally it asks us, well, if we leave the ethnicity aside, is there any connection, any evidence that there's a connection between the proportion of children who have these different things? So if you've got your diphtheria, are you more or less likely to have also received the measles vaccine, or also be severely underweight? So we can look at the connection between having the two vaccinations and between each of the vaccinations and the underweight thing. So basically, it's almost like looking for correlations, looking at all the different combinations, and they're fairly easy to do just by copying the code and pasting it in as before. So testing for relations between the prevalence of these health conditions, just execute all of those at once. And so testing connection between measles, yeah, so not such strong evidence here. And this was almost slightly surprising that there's no strong evidence that if you have had your DPT, diphtheria, polio, tetanus exam, if you've had measles or not, sorry, looking at measles, whether you've had measles or not does not affect the proportion of people that have had the other vaccination. You can't reject this, nowhere near rejecting that. So there's no apparent connection there, but there is a very clear connection, it seems, between whether or not you've got severely undernourished child and whether you've not had this vaccine. You can reject that very, very clearly. And also having a severely undernourished child and having had the measles vaccine, definitely very strongly related. So There does seem to be a connection between each of the vaccinations and the condition of having an underweight child, but not between the vaccinations directly, which is interesting. Okay, so that's the end of the sequence of quite simple tests in different situations. So next we turn to a more complicated data set on the ecosystems, but for now, thank you for watching.